Jerry Jones. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry, for helping me on March 11th, 2021. We were not short of topics today. We actually have way more than 45 minutes, but we keep to 45 minutes and we make choices. Some things don't make the show. Jerry Jones is making the show today because he had a press conference with Dak Prescott announcing the signing of Dak Prescott. And Jerry Jones said something that was of great interest to me and is a lesson that can be learned by me and everybody listening. Jerry Jones said when he bought the Cowboys, people thought he was an idiot that he overpaid for it. I remember that. People saying, oh my God, I can't believe what he paid for that team. And he said, the truth is, most anything that I've ever been involved in that ended up being special, I overpaid for every time to the end. Anytime I've tried to get a bargain, I got just that. It was a bargain in a lot of ways and not up to standard. He was trying to say that I may have overpaid for Dak Prescott, but that's what I do. I overpay. I overpay when things are special, and I'm right every time. The owner of the Marlins, Jeffrey Loria, built his fortune by being the greatest art dealer in history. There were times that he would teach me and tell me about overpaying for a sculpture, for a painting, knowing in his mind that if you are going to deal in greatness, you overpay for greatness, you collect greatness, and greatness appreciates. And what you think is an overpay becomes an underpay and a hugely successful investment. Did he buy the Dallas Cowboys for too much money back then? Yes. How did it work out? Did Peter Angelos overpay for the Baltimore Orioles in 1993 at auction? Yes. How did it work out? Did Jeffrey Loria overpay for the Marlins in 2002? Yes. How did that work out? Do people sometimes overextend and buy a house that they cannot afford and it ends up working out? I'm not telling you that you should, in your personal life, go into debt, make it so that you go bankrupt. I'm telling you that when you're going to do something, don't go for the bargain. How many times do you try to save a nickel here and there and you end up spending a quarter fixing the nickel that you already spent? And all you had to do was spend a dime initially. How many times does that happen? Don't worry about the brakes to this car. Don't worry about the air conditioning in this house. It'll be fine. Don't worry about losing a team to another city. We're not going to pay right now to keep them. Oh, God, we're going to pay more to get them back. It is a very good lesson, except it's about assets. Dak Prescott is a player. Jerry Jones is giving you a business lesson that I couldn't agree with more, but in terms of players, I couldn't agree with less. All we ever got by overpaying for players was overpaying for players. If you are going to be successful running your team, the way to truly be successful is to underpay for players and to have them outperform their contracts, a concept you hear me say again and again and again, whether you've got a salary of $180 million or your payroll is $40 million or your cap is $182.5 million. It doesn't matter. You've got to maximize dollars in the cap. They did it with Dak by having only 22 go against it, as we talked about the other day. I don't remember which show. Dak is a $22 million cap hit. He would have been a $37 million cap hit if he had been franchise tagged. But Jerry Jones mistakenly confuses a business lesson for assets and says these players are assets. That's what he's saying by transitive property of asset. You've got to put a team together and realize that with the Cowboys, what have they won with Dak? What have the Texans won with Watson? What did the Knicks win with Ewing? What did we win with Stanton, Yelich, and Ozuna? When you are the Cowboys or the Yankees and you are the lead example franchise in your sport, you're worth the most of any team in your sport. You measure your success in addition to asset appreciation by ring acquisition. And in that regard, the Yankees and the Cowboys are failing incredibly. Emotional overpayments out of fear of the player leaving is how you don't win. Overpayment in long-term assets where there is time for dips, valleys, peaks. There's an opportunity to hold that asset for a decade or more. That's the type of overpayment that will pay off in the end.